Justin Trudeau, Canada's Prime Minister, is facing the biggest scandal of his administration. So, what's this scandal about? It involves the Attorney General, now the former, after she had resigned, Judy Wilson-Raybould, I don't know, after she was improperly pressured by Trudeau's closest advisors. How we know that something fishy is going on? That Gerald Butts, Trudeau's longtime friend and closest advisor, has resigned at the same time. So, the Attorney General and Trudeau's closest friend have resigned. And of course, the Attorney General is from Trudeau's Liberal Party. Why this scandal is consequential? Because there is a federal election this coming October. So let's dive a bit and talk about this scandal. A Canadian company by the name of SNC-Lavalin, based in Montreal, is accused of paying 48 million Canadian dollars in bribes in Libya to Gaddafi's family in the period between 2001 and 2011. And those bribes were paid to secure lucrative contracts. If SNC is found guilty, the company could be barred from bidding on federal projects for up to a decade. And why is SNC different? Because it's a huge company. It employs 50,000 people around the world, more important of which of those 50,000 are the 3,400 based in Quebec. So what have the company executives been doing? They have been lobbying the government into pressuring the Attorney General into accepting what's called a deferred prosecution agreement, which is in effect paying a fine instead of being criminally prosecuted. So they want the case dropped and they are willing to pay a fine, whatever it's huge or small, but it's on the principle. But the federal prosecutors, headed of course by the Attorney General, have decided to pursue a trial. So here comes the scandal. The Prime Minister, Trudeau, and his financial minister have been accused of pressuring the Attorney General to intervene and ask the federal prosecutors to accept the deferred prosecution agreement. The Attorney General refused and resigned. But what does Trudeau say about all of this? The Canadian Prime Minister hasn't denied, and he says that he and his team did indeed speak to Wilson and her staff about the case. So much so as admitting and confessing. A Liberal Party confessing to interfering and pressuring the Attorney General. A party headed by a person who always portrays himself as moralistic and conscientious. So Trudeau says that all the discussions were respectful and within the bounds of rule, and it's his duty to protect the jobs of Canadians. So he's pursuing the line of defense that's always pursued by conservative parties everywhere. And the leader of the opposition, the Conservative Party, Andrew Scheer, has called on Trudeau to resign because he's interfering in the affairs of the Attorney General. Needless to say, it could have very well been the same line pursued by the Conservative Party, but in that instance, the Attorney General, the Conservative, would have been more understanding. And what's the response in Trudeau's party? So far, the members of the Liberal Party appear as unified and they agree with the Prime Minister on his decision. So what's expected? The scandal most likely won't damage Trudeau in Quebec, because of course it's saving jobs there. But most likely it will hurt his image throughout the country. The rest of it, of course.